Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Welcome to week 9, day 1. So this is the first day of this week, and we're going to talk about understanding PTSD and CPTSD. So I'm going to explain to you what it is and then what you can actually do about it. Okay? Excuse me. I gotta drink some water. Okay. All right. Better. Understanding post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, CPTSD, is essential for recognizing and addressing the profound impacts of trauma on mental health. Here's a cohesive guide to understanding these conditions, their symptoms, causes, and treatment options. So I'm going to go into this in full detail, but I'm going to slow it down a little bit so you can actually hear what I'm saying. Don't want you to miss anything, okay? So, PTSD, what is that? It is post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is a mental health condition that can develop after a person experiences or witness a traumatic event. These events can include natural disasters, accidents, war, assaults, or any situation where the person feel extreme fear, helplessness, or horror. Here are some symptoms of PTSD. So if you're not sure if you have it, pay attention and see if you are experiencing any of these categories, all right? So PTSD symptoms are generally grouped into 4 categories. Number 1, you have intrusive memories. Reoccurred, unwanted, distressing memories of a traumatic event. Flashbacks, reliving the traumatic experience as if it was happening again. Upsetting dreams or nightmares about the traumatic event. Severe emotional distress or physical reactions to something that reminds you of the traumatic experience. Okay, number 2, avoidance. A lot of people do this one here. Trying to avoid thinking or talking about the traumatic event. Avoiding places, activities, or people that remind you of the traumatic event. Number 3, negative changes in thinking and mood. That's why I had you read the book and do this every single week last week, which was the 365 Days of Mindfulness. This is the reason why I had you read this book, because you are definitely thinking this way. I know you are experiencing this. The negative thinking as well as your mood. So, negative thoughts about yourself, other people, or the world. Hopelessness about the future. Memory problems, okay? I have had this situation. I had some memory problems. Well, I was forgetting things, okay? So memory problems including not remembering important aspects of the traumatic experience. I've had that situation before. They're starting to come back now to a point to where I'm able to teach you. I had something happen just really earlier today. And at first I was like, maybe I shouldn't share it. But then it's a reason that I had that memory come back so I can share it. So somewhere in the last, probably somewhere in I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, I'm going to probably share it with you. So that way you will get an understanding of what I'm talking about memories and stuff like that. But anyway, let's not talk about that now. Let's keep going. So you have difficulty maintaining close relationships. Is that you? Do you have them problems? Feeling detached from family and friends. Do you feel that way? Lack of interest in activities you once enjoyed. See, do you feel that? I used to feel that, but I don't anymore, because now I'm back doing those things again that I enjoyed, which is dancing and also doing hair. I did hair for a long time. I do my own hair. So every time you see my hair different, I did it. Okay. I mean, for real. Even the coloring, the cutting, whatever. I do it, braids, all. I do it all. I have done hair since I was 9 years old. Went to school for it. Got my license as cosmetologist, all that. So I'm telling you these things because now I'm back doing it again, which is something that you have to think about. Is there something in your past that you used to enjoy, but now you're not doing it anymore because you don't enjoy doing it? You might be suffering with PTSD, all right? So, difficulty experiencing positive emotions. Do you have problems with that? Feelings of emotional numbness, like you cannot have any feeling about what happened to you. You can't cry about it, or you can't get mad about it, or whatever of those situations. You just numb from it, and that's not good. You might think it's good, but it's not. Being numb isn't good. It's basically now you have built a tolerance for it, and that's not good. So this is something you have to deal with, because eventually it's going to come out of you at some point. It always does. So number 4, here's the other category. So changing in physical and emotional reaction. Here's some arousal symptoms. Let's talk about that. Being easily startled or frightened. Is that you? Always being on guard for danger. Is that you? Self-destruction behavior such as drinking too much or driving too fast. So basically you're doing dangerous things to yourself. Or having trouble sleeping. You might be having trouble sleeping, as well as trouble concentrating. Are you having problems concentrating? You used to concentrate, now you can't concentrate. Or is that something that you have going on? And then irritability, anger, outbursts, or aggressive behavior. Is that you? Are you experiencing any of those things? And of course, you have the last one, which is overwhelming guilt and shame. That's why I told you need to write the letter. So I'm going to go back to this irritability, anger, outbursts, and the aggressive behavior. So my brother, he had experienced something. He was in the Navy. He experienced a traumatic situation on one of the ships that he was on. Matter of fact, it's on video. I didn't know it was public. He told me about it. And he went in to go see his counselor and his therapist, and they had the video. and they showed it to him, and he was like experiencing those withdrawals and those feelings all over again. Well, he has PTSD. He's being treated for it at this time. And the thing is with that is he also had to experience some other situation happen to him where he had to get his legs cut off. This is recent with the leg situation. And I say recent because my brother had been out of the Navy for at least maybe 20 years now. But this situation with his legs, he had first found out about him having a problem when he was in the military about his bones. I don't want to get into his details about it, but what I'm saying is PTSD can sometimes come up later in life. You know, you probably think that his situation should have happened when it happened, but now here's 20 years later and he's learning about his symptoms and what he's really, really, truly experiencing. And he's now getting the help. He didn't get the help back then. He didn't even know he had PTSD. And now he's finding out what his issue is, because my brother used to have a lot of outbursts. I mean, a lot of anger and irritability to where I didn't even really want to be around him. Like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that. But now that I know his issue, I can understand it. I can relate to him. And now that he's getting the help that he needs, he's more pleasant to be around. I'm silly. I mean, like, I say I'm silly about it, but what I'm saying is it's a serious thing because I didn't really want to be around him. And now I'm like, wow, he's getting the help. I can literally be in his company and his presence and feel great about being in his company again. Because before he went into the military, we was tight, thick as thieves, you know, and I mean literally thick as thieves. And now I was like, okay, I got my brother back. Sad that he don't have his legs, but he's getting prosthetic legs made for him today. As of today, you know, he's going through his therapy to learn how to walk on those things. But the beautiful thing about this situation is that he's getting the help. And I'm telling you guys that it does come up somewhere down the line. If you don't think you got it now, you're going to eventually start experiencing it down the line. So you have to start doing something about it today. So that way you don't have to deal with it later in life. Deal with it today. Let's talk about some causes of PTSD, okay? So PTSD can be triggered by various traumatic events, including combat exposure. What are you exposed to? Combat, like the combat people. Like my brother didn't really go into war or anything like that, but it was an explosion that happened on that ship. He saw people that he loved die, that he got really, really close to, and he was almost one of them who almost died. He escaped in the nick of time. I didn't want to see the video, but I did see part of that video, and I was like, I can't see no more. And he was like, that's me right there. Like, I don't want to see no more, you know, and it's part of that, you know. So, but the part that I'm saying here is that those are triggers. So he can't watch certain movies due to that, all right? I just noticed that he don't watch a lot of TV. The TV that he do watch is like Game of Thrones or the Dragon thing that just came out with, and he can watch stuff like sports, you know, football, stuff like that. But when it comes to the actual military stuff, he's like, I don't want to see that. I'm like, I get it, baby. I get it. I know. And of course, you have childhood physical abuse, sexual violence, physical assault. Yeah, you were physically assaulted by your narcissist. You're going to probably experience this. You got also being threatened with a weapon, accidents that you was involved in any type of car accident, any kind of accident. And then, of course, you have natural disasters. Now, what do I fall in line with this? My son asked me yesterday, Mom, do you experience PTSD? And I said to myself, this 10-year-old know about PTSD. I said, what is PTSD? He's like, I don't know. And I told him what it was. I said, why are you asking me that? He said, because my dad experienced PTSD. So, like I told you, I adopted my son. So my son is my actual blood nephew, which is my brother's son. him and his wife, of course, they had issues. Of course, you know now because I told you about his outburst and anger as well as now. I didn't tell you nothing about the wife. The wife, my sister-in-law, she got issues of her own too. So, of course, CPS came in, took my nephew, and then I stepped in and became his guardian, his foster parent, and then I became his adopted mother. I ended up adopting him permanently to keep him in the family because they was threatening to come back and get him and adopt him out to another family because he was in the adoption age. Anywhere from, I think, 8 years old down, the child is automatically here in Texas put up for adoption. Even if you say you don't want to adopt, someone else can come in and adopt that child. They can come get that child out of your home and send it to another family because that child is in adopted age. I talk about all that in a whole nother situation, but what I'm saying here is that he asked me that, and I was like, okay, PTSD, this is what it is. And I said, your dad is experiencing that because of what he went through. Do I experience that? I told him I did. I don't anymore. And he was like, what happened? I was like, well, I don't want to tell you what happened, but I will tell you this. I got the work that I needed. I got the help that I needed. I don't experience PTSD anymore. Except for one thing. I do have triggers, and the triggers that I have. Now, I didn't tell him what the triggers were, but I'm going to tell you what one of my triggers are. One of my triggers that I don't like nobody putting their hand on my neck. That's one of my triggers, the choking thing, because I have experienced that with my ex when he tried to take my life by choking me. So I'm telling you, I don't want nobody putting their hands on my neck. That's just how that goes. So that's because it brings back those flashback moments. So is that PTSD? Well, that would probably be if that happened again and again and again. I'd probably start feeling that way. But I know that as long as I keep that situation at bay, I'm good. Now, maybe I can test it out. And I say that because you can test some things out to get over certain things. You know how a person have a phobia and they have a fear of something, but then until they face that fear, it will never go away. Well, part of me, I did allow my son to touch me there. And I was like, he don't know it, but I allowed him to do it just so I can try to get past that part. Like, okay, you can touch me there, but I'm not letting you know that that's one of my triggers. But I do want you to touch me there, like grab my neck a little bit, just so I can get over it. Now, he got the little hands or whatever. And you might say, well, sure, he's a kid. What's that? But no, just the fact that it's a hand there, and I have to remember that that's what part of me had to fight for my life, So just going through that, I kind of gotten myself in a place where I can deal with someone touch me on my neck now. I'm not all the way 100% now, but I am better. So let's continue. Okay, so let's talk about the risk factors. So factors that may increase the risk of developing PTSD includes experiencing intense or long-lasting trauma. So it happens for a long time. You will be exposed to having PTSD because it's happening for a very long time. Also, having experienced other trauma earlier in life, such as childhood abuse. So you dealt with that. Now you're dealing with this. So now you're developing PTSD. Also, having a job that increases your risk of being exposed to traumatic events, such as military personnel or first responders, even flight attendants. I have to say that, even pilots. So I experienced a situation where I had not one but two fires on the aircraft. The first one was in the cargo area, so I couldn't see it. It wasn't anything that I could actually see, but it was there and we had to make an emergency landing. The second one was actually a fire that was in the back where I was. I was sitting in my jump seat. Well, actually, I wasn't in my jumpsuit when I got the phone call. I was standing up in the galley, and the other flight attendant who was working first class, she was in the back galley with me, and we were just having a conversation because we had already did our service and everything, and I was putting everything away, getting things ready for gradual descent, and I heard the ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. That is not a good noise to hear. Got the phone, listened to it, and he said, we have an emergency landing, and the captain was like, you need to prepare for evacuation. There's a fire in the back, and they get all these indications as well in the cockpit that's telling them where the fire is actually located at. I didn't smell no fire. I didn't see no smoke, so I didn't know what he was talking about. But at the same time, I knew he knew what he was talking about. So let's get this together. I'm telling you, do I have PTSD from it? No. But the other flight attendant, yes, because she was not that. I've been a flight attendant for 8 years. At this particular time, it was 6 years for me. And she had just kind of started. She was in her first year. So you can imagine how panicked she was. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I'm going to tell you this. When it came down to her doing her part, she froze. And I mean froze. I had to do most of the work. All I told her to do was to read the announcements so that way I can do everything else. And then while she was reading, she was still standing up. She's supposed to take her seat and sit in her seat while she's reading the announcement. She was not doing that. Here we are so close to the ground, and I had to get on the PA and say, flight attendant, take your seat, put your seatbelt on, because you want to be the one that needs to let us off this plane because the fire is back here with me. And at this point, I still don't see any smoke. I still don't smell anything. So it had to been in the back engine part, like with a back, because I didn't see it, you know. But when we finally landed and we hit the ground hard, I mean hard. That was the hardest landing I ever felt in my life. And I have felt some hard landing, but that was hard. And she had to open up that door. And we was evac, get up, or come this way, release your seatbelt, leave everything, come this way. We was doing all that and everything. And I'm telling you, when we hit that ground, that's when the smoke came. And that's when I smelled it. That's when I saw it. I was like, oh, this is real. So what I want to say is this. When we finally got everybody off the plane and we got into a safe place, she said to me, I quit. I was like, oh God, I understand. I do. I get it. And she was like, I didn't know this was going to happen so soon and all this stuff. And I knew it. I got it. I understood it. So I know she probably suffering from PTSD. She's probably afraid to get on another plane because she did. She quit. She was done. I ain't seen her no more. So I get it. So I just want you to know that PTSD is real. If someone say, oh, it's not real, yes, it is. It's definitely a real thing. So anything that you're dealing with, it could be also having other mental health problems such as anxiety and depression. Yeah, if you have anxiety, you're suffering from that, you're depressed, that's also can be a trigger for PTSD. Lacking a good support system of family and friends. Yeah. That's why it's important to get you some really good friends who's not going to judge you. And if you don't have family members that can help support you, it's okay. You can adopt yourself some family. That's a good thing about having family. You can adopt. You can your friends, your good friends can become family to you. And of course, so communities, they can become family to you. So just make sure that whoever you are connected to is feeding life into you and not death. And when I mean by not death, I'm going to explain that in detail. When a person is giving you what you need to survive in your world, in this world, your life, and they're helping to push you and propel you forward for the future, that is a good person who is feeding life into you. But if a person is draining all your energy like energy vampires, or they're making you feel useless and worthless and not worth anything, and they're not giving you encouragement, they are feeding death in you. They are killing your spirit. That person is not the person for you. All right. So, and also having blood relatives with mental health problems, including PTSD and depression. So those also can relate to you having PTSD. Let's talk about some treatments. So what are some treatments that you can actually do?
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. Treatment for PTSD typically involves a combination of therapy, including psychotherapy. So what is psychotherapy? It's talk therapy. So people don't realize that. People think that when you hear the word psycho, that you're crazy. You're not. Basically, it's about your cognitive behavior, which is CBT. That's all it is. It's to have you talk your problems out. Talk. And to talk your way through what's going on with you. And you don't realize that is actually one of the best therapies you can ever have, is to have someone to listen to you. And for you to just talk and talk and talk. That is a beautiful thing. And not be judged while you're talking. That's even more beautiful, okay? So cognitive behavior therapy, which is CBT, it's also particularly trauma-informed CBT. You have that as well. There's 2 different types. And it's effective in helping individual process trauma and change negative thoughts patterns. So having a psychotherapy talk to you is a beautiful thing, or you talk to them is good. Don't think that it's bad. It's not. Medication. Now I'm talking about medication for a little while. Let me just go into what it does, and then I'll talk about. So you got antidepressants, such as a selective serotonin, which its uptakes is some type of, basically, I don't want to go deep into that because I'm not a doctor to give you medication, but I'm going to let you know there are medication prescribed for this situation. I'm not really an advocate for it because I believe that you can actually heal without taking psycho meds. Something that's messed with your brain, alter your mood and the way you think, is something that you should have control over, not some medication. But I will tell you this, yes, I'm being biased on this, but I will tell you the name of it. It's SSRI and then SNRIS. So those are common prescriptions that are used. You talk to a doctor about that and go from there. If you feel the need that you want that, that's on you. Personally, I would mess with it. I don't think it's hard to get off of it. That's one reason why I say I wouldn't mess with it. Because the minute that you're on that medication and you are on it for a period of time, your brain is depending on it. So you are not easily taken off of it. Just to let you know, because it can really do some damage more than good if you're taken off of it. So be cautious and careful if you choose to go that route. Then you also have eye movement, the sterilization, and processing. So what is that? The short term, the acronym I will put like that is EMDR. And it's a therapy that involves processing traumatic memory, while focusing on any type of internal stimulation, such as eye movement. Now, you probably don't understand that, or you probably do. It's up to you, but you can do more research on that if you want to, which is EMDR. If you got the book, you can also look it up even more so. And then you have support groups. So connecting with others who are experiencing PTSD can also provide support and understanding. So those are some of the treatments that you can have. Now let's talk about CPTSD. Now this is where you probably fall more in line at. So let's talk about this. So complex post-traumatic stress disorder, that's CPTSD, and CPTSD is a more serious, more from what it does is the same as PTSD, but it's a little bit more complex, and the results from prolonged or repeated trauma, which pretty much what you had going on in a relationship with a narcissist, they repeat things over and over. So definitely you might be suffering from this instead of regular PTSD. You might be suffering from complex PTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So unlike PTSD, which can result from a single traumatic event, CPTSD typically stems from chronic trauma over a long period, such as long-term child abuse, domestic violence, or being in a war zone for an extended period of time. So you fall under the CPTSD, all right? Because if you're dealing with a narcissist, you was in a domestic violence relationship. So here are some symptoms. If you say, no, I'm not. Nope. Let's talk about the symptoms and let's see if you are experiencing any of these 6 experiences. There's 6 of them, okay? So CPTSD includes the symptoms of PTSD, but also involves additional symptoms. So you got the 4, then you also have these 6 as well. So number 1 is emotional regular issues. So you have difficulty controlling your emotions, such as anger, sadness, or fear. Suicidal thoughts or behavior. You're doing things that is reckless and dangerous. Exposure and you're expressing anger or sudden rage. You're angry, rage, you're breaking things, tearing things up, those type of things. Number 2, consciousness. So let's talk about that. Forgetting traumatic events. You have some type of amnesia when it comes to that. You can't tell everything in full detail because you can't remember everything. Or you have traumatic events of flashbacks. Number 3, self-perception. So you're feeling permanently damaged or worthless. Shame, guilt, or feeling like no one can understand what's happening to you or what has happened to you. Number 4, distorted perception of the predator, that was the person that you was with. You have different perception of him, meaning that you have preoccupation with the relationship of the predator, including rage like you are. You want revenge for what that person did to you. You want to hurt them. You want to get back at them, okay? And then, or you might be feeling any type of attribution of total power to the predator. Yes. The protagonist, the person who was hurting you, the narcissist, like you want to have some kind of power over them like they had over you. Then number 5, you have relationships with others. Let's talk about relationship with others. Difficulty trusting others. That's the part where you're like, I'll never ever get into a relationship ever again. Or you in a relationship and then you really don't trust them. You're always judging them, or you are not really feeling comfortable with that relationship. You're unsure about it. And then you have problems with relationship, including isolation and feeling detached from others. So you don't really feel connected to anybody. And then, of course, there's number 6, loss of symptoms of meaning. So let's talk about the systems of meaning. So basically, you lost your faith, or you feel a sense of hope, like you have lost it. You don't have any hope anymore. You don't believe in God anymore, or you don't believe in relationships anymore. You just lost what you used to believe in. You don't have it no more. And then feeling detached from any type of relationship with God, religion, or any type of social belief, or anybody, groups. You don't want to go to no events because people are there, that type of stuff. Are you feeling those things? If you are, then you are suffering from CPTSD. Let's talk about causes. So causes of CPTSD is often caused by prolonged and repeated trauma, such as childhood abuse or neglect, domestic violence, human trafficking, and long-term exposure to war or conflict. That's part of the reason why I take breaks from my mother. I'm going to say this. My mom is also a narcissist too. And I think that's how I was so attracted to my ex-husband, because of what I was used to dealing with her. I thought it was normal because I didn't know that it wasn't normal. I know now it's not normal. And to this day, she still acts the way she does. I think she had gotten worse because of the fact that she had added other things to help enhance her attitude and her mood swings, which is drinking. She used to didn't drink when I was younger, but she's drinking now, and that's just made things worse. But what I want to say is about that situation is that when it comes to dealing with someone in your past and you find out that you are attracted, or it's attracted to you, you have to figure out a way to do things differently. And that's why I'm helping you to learn how to do things differently. Because people, for some reason, they can spot in you what you don't know you have in you. And they can attach themselves to you for those reasons. And you are unaware that you are being targeted in that way. So this is why you need to know that you have CPTSD, so that way when you are dealing with people who are triggers to you, you are automatically aware that this person is a trigger and you have to move them around. Like my mother, she's a trigger to me. I have to go and take breaks from her. You know, I had an incident recently. I don't want to get into it, but I did have an incident recently with my mother right before my wedding anniversary, my second year. It was like literally a few days before it. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a break from her. I'm not going to let her ruin my anniversary with the way she's acting. I'm going to take a break from her. I told one of her sisters that I'm not going to talk to her for a little while, just so I can get my mental health right and be on point, especially teaching you guys this stuff. I have to be right too, you know? So I have to be the first to bite the apple is what I'm trying to tell you. So I'm not going to teach you something that I haven't experienced or that I don't know anything about. I'm teaching you what I know and what I have experienced and what I'm able to relate to you, knowing that it's possible to get help, that it's possible to change, it is possible to make the difference in your own life. This is your life. No one else is living the life for you, but you. And the day that you close your eyes and never open them again, due to the fact that you have taken your last breath, you have to understand that no one else is going to come in and fill the shoes that you have already been walking in. No one is going to fill that void. So this is why it's so important for you to do what you need to do to make sure that you're healthy, you're strong, and you're mentally right. I focus on the mind. I also focus on the body, the spirit, and the soul. But if your mind ain't right, nothing else falls in place. So this is why I'm teaching you about the cognate in the different ways that you can protect your mind. You have to protect your mind. So here are some risk factors. Let's talk about risk factors. Similar to PTSD, but with an emphasis on prolonged trauma exposure, particularly in informative years or in situations where escape is not possible. Here's some treatments that you can do. And here we go again about the medication, but I told you that I am biased. I will admit I am biased when it comes to medication. I do not think that everyone needs medication. Some people probably do, but not everyone. And you have to be careful with that medication because the medication, it's designed to keep you on it for the rest of your life. Doctors might say, oh, no, we can wean you off of it, but it's going to have an effect on you. And you yourself is going to feel like you have to have it. Like, I need it. It's almost become the drug of choice over time because it makes you feel good, give you these happy feelings. And some feelings are not really that great. So you have to be careful with the side effects. Look into the side effects of these drugs. So the medication is actually similar to PTSD. You have SSRIs and SNRIs, which can be helpful. That's what they say. Leave that alone. I did do the research on that, so that's why I'm telling you that's what they say. Okay. Then you have psychotherapy. So prolonged therapy, focusing on building trust, processing trauma, and developing healthy coping mechanism, things that can help you cope that is healthy. And then you have I'm trying to pronounce that right. Dialectical behavior therapy, that is DBT, okay? And it can help as well. So you have traumatic informed care. We did some of this already with Qigong, but actually I haven't talked to you about Qigong. That's going to be in the next actual video, which is tomorrow, but we'll talk about Qigong in a little bit. So you have, which is a holistic approach that considers the impact of trauma on all aspects of life, ensuring a safe and supportive environment. Qigong is actually really good for that, and I will go over some Qigong methods. I've already did a video on Qigong, but I will post this video in this because it's one of your assignments, okay? So you would definitely get that. And of course, you have stigmatic therapy. What is stigmatic therapy? So it's a body-based therapy that helps individuals reconnect with their body and process trauma, such as traumatic informed yoga, and you also have traumatic informed Qigong. That's the part that I have chosen to do. And then you have EMDR, and of course you have support network, building a strong support network of trusted individuals, including family, friends, and support group. Now you see the reason why you are in this support group, you in the discussion forum, because you are building a group of people who are like you, who y'all can connect with each other, okay? So understanding PTSD and CPTSD is critical for recognizing the prolonged impact of traumatic and providing appropriate support and treatment. Both conditions requires compassionate, trauma-informed care that prioritize safety, empowerment, and holistic healing. By addressing the unique needs of individuals with PTSD and CPTSD, it can help you rebuild your life and achieve a sense of well-being and resilience. That does end today's. Yes, that's it for today. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do is we're going to go over traumatic informed Qigong. And I'm going to teach you how to do certain things. Different things, though. It's not just only the Qigong, but other techniques that you can add with it as well. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taken with us here at Imaging Coaching. We'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.